if you think you're going to do it in your own strength, then you know what? Yeah, you can do it.
COVID, it's been helping people move their businesses from offline or brick and mortar to online.
Systems are more important than skills as an entrepreneur today.
It's totally okay to reinvent yourself multiple times, especially when you're an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Profitable Coaching Conversations with WendyY Bailey. If you're a coach, speaker, or industry expert, you're in the right place for sales and marketing wisdom and insight to grow your coaching business. Now, here's your host, Income Acceleration Mentor, WendyY Bailey.
Again, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm so thrilled today to bring back one of the coolest people I know. I say bring her back because we've known each other for so long. Precious Williams is the killer pitch master. She is a 15-time national pitch winner. She's a 5-time best-selling author. There's so much that we got to unpack because you got to meet this lady. Precious Williams, welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Let's go.
Yeah. So tell us, how did you become the killer pitch master? Like, when did that start for you?
I really feel like I became the killer pitch master when I started speaking professionally at 16 years old. Mm-hmm. But the true test of me as a killer pitch master is when I was an attorney and I was just disgruntled. I'm an attorney in the great state of New York, worked very hard to get here. I just felt like this can't be the end.
What type of law were you practicing?
So I first started off, just business law, working at a top New York firm. Then I did medical malpractice, product liability, toxic torts. And I finished with my own firm handling landlord, tenant, and mortgage foreclosure defense.
Wow, that's a lot.
None of it sounds appetizing to me today. It almost seems like a whole lifetime ago.
It probably feels like a lifetime ago, because when I talk about you being a 15-time national elevator pitch winner, that's over a stretch of years, right? Like, you've been, once you started.
It was 2 years, from 2011 to 2013 is where I won 13 national titles out of 14. Mm-hmm. And then I started Perfect Pitches by Precious in 2013 after winning. And so many women and men were like, the way you pitch, I'll pay you anything. And you can only turn down that so many times.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Maybe I can, because I can't go to the Google School of Pitching. Mm-hmm. I do this to help people. Man, if that was cool, it doesn't work for me, and it didn't work for me on stages. And so having a unique approach and framework is what really set me apart. And then coming in with this energy that they were not.
We were talking about that before we started the recording. Your energy is so high and so like you can almost cut it with a knife. It's just so thick and palpable, and I love that about you. And what did I tell you before we started the recording? Of course, you're an Aquarian.
I mean, definitely. I think what's amazing, I was listening to another speaker and I said, if that's how I come across, wow. Mm-hmm. Because when you're in the moment, when you're on stage or you're speaking to intimate groups like I do all the time, I am still amazed how people will take my hand, or will I want to engage them and bring them on stage. They're looking at me in awe, and then they step into their greatness like they never have before. And I love it because they're seeing themselves very, very differently. I'm 45 years old. I never thought that being in my 40s would be such a gift. Yeah. And then I've let go of so many of the things that hung me up in my 20s and in my 30s. Yeah. To walk into
no shame
whatsoever. Mm-hmm. I earned the right to be here. An agent it really is a gift. It really, you look at yourself, look at the things that you did, you're like, I'm on that Usher's No Limit, baby. I'm on no limits.
Okay. The thing that I also love about you is you have such clarity about kind of where you're going now. We talked again. There are things that have happened in your past that brought you to today. I don't want to rehash those, but what do you credit most your, wow, I'm excited to be alive and thriving and my energy is going to reflect that. What do you really credit that to in your life? What's brought you to your 40s where you get it finally? You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna tell you, it was my 50s before I got it. So
snap.
God bless you. God bless you that it was.
Come on. I mean, 50s come through. If I am so blessed. I remember when we were when I became a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, 8 to Kappa chapter. If I am so blessed. So 2 things. Number 1, I credit God. I hit rock bottom 3 or 4 times in my life. And I think the last time that I did, losing the love of my life, being homeless and a severe alcoholic, I did not realize that my version of my higher power did not live up to who he really, really was. And when I was in the Bowery Mission Women's Center for 2 years, stripped of accomplishments, achievements, family, all sorts of things, I had to face myself. It's like Mortal Kombat, face your fear, face yourself. And every night, because we didn't have electronics around us, there was no cell phones, none of that. It was really being in community. That's something listen, I was a lone wolf. Like, I don't need people around me to get it popping. Yeah, I did. So, and he would say every night.
Learn that. You learn that you need people.
Yes. My second chapter is going to be better than my first, but when you're looking around like, I'm homeless, it's going to be, I'm about to show you how it's done. So number 1, it was God. And also when I really read the story of David and Goliath, and I realized, like in the Nicki Minaj song, I slayed Goliath with a sling. I slayed Goliath with pitching and communication skills. I did not need to be born into wealth or to have the greatest of connections or to know everybody. My ability to speak my way into existence, speak my way into rooms and spaces that according to other people, I never should have been allowed in.
Let's just talk about some of those rooms. Let's talk about some of those rooms. You are a world-class speaker with global
world-class master communicator that Coach WendyY taught me years ago.
I gotta get this out. Come on now. BMW, Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft, SiriusXM, HubSpot, Condé Nast, Harvard University, Columbia University, Spelman College, QuickBooks, Yelp, and other Fortune 100 corporate clients. Wow. I was like, I gotta get it out. I gotta tell all of these. I gotta drop all these names for you. You know what I mean? What do you really believe opened the door? Like, you answered my question about rock bottom and the 2 things that brought you from that. I don't know, before we go on, I don't know that I said, I heard from you about why specifically David and Goliath was the story in the Bible that really supported you.
Because you can listen to preachers talk about it. You can listen to Bishop T.D. Jakes. You can listen to Joel Osteen until you read the story. And you see how he got to where he got as a series of circumstances that, never should have happened. And all things led to, you don't talk about my God like that. He looking around at everybody else. He's saying this big old ogre, like, I don't need none of that big sword. I don't need none of that. I'm about to get my slingshot. And they're looking at him like, this is not. And I think about it like, no one thought I could pitch and I can go up against the biggest and the baddest and the Ivy Leagues and the cool tech companies. And I did it with ease. Like, it was nothing. The same way I did it on Shark Tank, the same way I did it in movies and documentaries around the world. That's light work to me because I envisioned that years ago. And everything came through as I was reading the story for myself, not anybody interpreting it for me. So my second chance at life, when I walked out of the doors of the Bowery Mission, I knew I was going to restart my company. And the second thing that I didn't get to is I went where I was celebrated and not tolerated. There were too many people who would burn bread on me. That's what we say in St. Louis, burn bread and say I could not do it. It's because they would have blocked me and they would have dogged me. So when the spaces were, there weren't a lot of me, not because that's what I wanted, but because they didn't know my backstory. So that could not come before how they saw me. And then it was placed on me. You have to start from a position of power. So give them the pitch that they have never heard before and do it in such a way that you leave them shocked and awed and breathless. And that was what it was. They had never seen someone command like me in 30 seconds, 15 seconds, a minute. I did it. And then they're asking me, how can we help you? And they started opening doors because I asked for paid speaking engagements. And there was no backstory that they could lean on. There was no like, oh, well, it was none of that. Yeah. I traded on, I am the killer pitch master from back then, and I'm even greater today. Me writing my first book, Bad Bees and Power Pitches for Women Entrepreneurs and Speakers Only. We didn't know it'd be a #1 bestseller. We just thought we'll put it out and just see what happens. Then Forbes magazine contacts me. Then there's a billboard in Times Square. Then my books are being bought. I have 5 #1 bestsellers, bought in bulk by the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah.
But remember when people said the title wouldn't sell or it was too crass and all of this, it wasn't. And my vision became clear because if I am the killer pitch master, you should feel some type of way when I speak. It should be either hot or cold, but it can never be lukewarm. Just like they say in the Bible. I want you to feel I want you to have a fear of missing out. I want you to be like, I don't even like that chick and I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
I want that for every woman and man I come across, whether you're introvert, extrovert, ambivert. I want people to feel something about you. So be the quiet storm, and you could be the bigger, gariest one like me. But it really came down to God and the story of David and Goliath, and also going where I was celebrated and not tolerated. And those people were not affected by the people who knew this backstory and thought that was the end of me. And I said this with so much respect. Wherever people left me, I wasn't staying. Yeah. I just wasn't. Yeah. And if that's what you thought, that's not what happened. And so the best things that could have ever happened is I got to see that you can go from last to first with talent. And I think people look at me today like, oh, you're so beautiful. That wasn't what people said back in the day. I think my beauty comes from the inside out now. And I know who I am.
Yeah. I love that you have slayed the naysayers in the most appropriate way. You know what I mean? Because I remember you and I talking years ago. And there were naysayers and you were concerned about them. And I was like, why? You don't need to be concerned about, you're going to always have naysayers. So when you said I started going where I was celebrated, not tolerated. And there's another piece to it that another friend of mine gave me. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated, then you will be appreciated and compensated.
Can we talk about it?
Yeah.
Can we talk about it?
You can claim that as your own because I've claimed it as my own.
Listen,
that's real. That's real.
It is. And those people they can say one word and you're in the door. It's not a committee. It is one word. Oh, they hear an opportunity. That was part of my third book, Pitching for Profit. It was like turning conversations into what currency? And the greatest currency you'll have is not money. It is relationships. Yep. And with the right relationship, baby, you ain't never going to be broke. Because they will keep saying your name. You'll say, man, I'm struggling. They'll be like, how much you need? Oh, it ain't nothing. Because you're with the right people. They know you're not there to try to get every opportunity off of them. I built real relationships. Before, it was very transactional. How do I get to here and there? But they blocked me and they were going to continue to. Where else can I go to showcase this talent, this skill set, and this ability, and not just end it with individuals? I wanted to shoot for the biggest companies in the world, being Black on both sides, no Brazilian butt lift, no six-pack abs, and do it with an accent and still do it. Yeah. And that's what I think is the greatest part of my story is, I hit rock bottom many times, and I always bounce back harder, but it's from a different place now, that knowing. I know they're going to talk about me. So I'm going to give them something to talk about. Yeah.
So you said something about your accent. Tell us where you're from.
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Have you done anything with that accent over the years, or you just are in it? And
you know what? When I'm in St. Louis, which is infrequently, but I was there, I think about 2 years ago, speaking at Harris-Stowe State University, which was a college when I was in high school. And everybody was like, "You sound like such a New Yorker," and I'm like, to New Yorkers, let me be very clear, just like to people in Atlanta, they know I'm not from New York and they know I'm not from Atlanta. They said, but you talk so fast and you move so fast. I said, now, I've been in New York 20 plus years now. I said, so maybe I talk faster, but there is no one, I can go to California, I can go all over the world. They're like, not from here. But you have the attitude and you move like a New Yorker. So no, like I'm sure it has been sped up a bit, but certain R words you're gonna hurt, and you're like, that one right there grew up with cows and chickens. And I'm like, I actually did not. I grew up in the inner
It's
city of
funny
St.
because
Louis,
I don't think of St. Louis as cows and chickens, but I guess
You'd
it
be
is
amazed.
farmland. Yeah. You're like, yeah, but it is. You need to know. It is.
Yeah.
You need to know.
Or people are like, you grew up in, I said, there's a mixture to my personality. Yes, I can go into the highest of high, I can go to the ivory tower, and I also can go into the hood.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the thing is I don't code switch anymore like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think I had to change up who I was to be in different environments. And in knowing myself and embracing all of me, I have literally been shocked at how people love to hear me say certain things. I can throw out a hip hop reference, a country reference, a hard rock reference, an 80s reference, a 70s, a 90s reference, just out of the blue. And they get it. They get it like, oh, I like you. I like your personality. I was like, well, I had to develop a personality because I didn't grow up being told I was pretty.
Yeah.
So something had to give.
And so let me ask this. This seems like a very natural follow-up kind of question. When you look at like your whole body of work and what you do today and how you serve today, who would you say are your ideal clients?
If it's an individual, it is an elite professional who decided that they are tired of being only seen in one way and they're ready to change the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been in corporate America a long time. They've been an entrepreneur a long time, and they feel ready to break free and tackle that stage or get in front of people in a totally different way and showcase a new talent, a skill set, or an ability. They're already successful. Let me say it again. They're not novices. They've been successful.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a new time in their life, and they're ready to showcase a new thing that's been inside of them for a very long time. And they want someone who can plot, twist, and flip the script and has done it, that they can trust to be able to bring out the very best of them. When it comes to companies, corporations, foundations, nonprofits, and associations, they've done all the tradition. They've got worked with all the traditional speakers, motivational speakers, trainers, and then they're looking for someone to shake the tables and truly flip the script. So they're not looking for cookie cutter anymore. They're looking for someone who's going to come in like a wrecking ball, like Miley Cyrus. Like, well, it used to be this, but we want somebody who can marry the old and the new in a way that's engaging. It's fresh. We're learning in real time and not listening to a lecture. Mm-hmm. And we can implement immediately. Yeah. And then there's even more training because I've been doing this. I've been a professional speaker 29 years and I'm 45. When it comes to training in pitching, that's 2013, it's 2024. That's 11 years. Mm-hmm. And to witness what I really love about my ideal prospects is turning them into repeat clients and customers. There are people who watch me for years. They have worked with some great people. And when they come to me because they've already been successful, there's something that they did not get from these others that they know will come through me. Whether it's speaking, whether it's content creation, whether it's ring making, whether it's client acquisition, or just changing the narrative on how they're seen. Yeah. Coach WendyY, I went from the killer pitch master to the pitch queen, to the creative outsider, to the atmosphere shifter, to the ultimate rainmaker.
Okay. What a journey that has been, girl. I'm listening to you. You know, it's funny because I was wondering when I asked the question, you sort of went into this trance mode, but then when you came out of it, you had such great, let me just tell you who it is. It's these people, it's that people, it's the other people. And I'm like, the thing that I see over and over and over again with clients of mine is they don't have clarity about who they want to serve. And yours is so crystal. And when they get that clarity, like you have that clarity, doors open up that they never imagined possible because they know who they're here to serve. And it links them to purpose in a way not ever known. You know what I mean? It links them to purpose.
I think that also in my journey, and the reason why it's so clear and I went into that trance is because they're here. Mm-hmm. Who am I to dare to think that Google, LinkedIn, and Microsoft would be my clients, or that I would work with private associations, or that I'd be flown out like Instagram thotty all over the world. And no one's worried about this or anything. They consider me the GOAT at what I do.
Because you
My
are.
name isn't Tony Robbins. It's not Grant Cardone. It's not Sarah Bakley. No, I know that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And one of the greatest things is when my clients want to work with me, they're like, there are a lot of popular people and a lot of great people who do great things. But Precious, you know about the right people. And there aren't people walking around saying, oh, she did this to me, she did that. No, it's you've operated integrity. You came back with a vengeance to prove once and for all, you are the greatest at what you do, but you're only great because they're doing it now. It's not about you. It is about them.
Yeah, it's a teach a man to fish, he eats for a day. Give a man a fish, he eats for a day.
Yep.
Teach him to fish, he eats for a lifetime. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. But it's been a journey, and I think because it's 2024 and I walked out of darkness in 2018, the time was sped up. Like my trajectory, I started from experience, not from the beginning anymore. It was experience. It was also going where I was celebrated, not tolerated, watching who was saying my name, writing these books, and they were business books. They weren't these other kind of books. It was business books because I strategically knew at some point they would be sold in bulk and they would be sold in bundles. But they had to be business so businesses could buy. And where does that come from? It wasn't like somebody said to me, oh, it's going to be done like this, that, and the other. That is my higher power who put me in certain places. And the only reason I think people really know me today, the right people, is because it took the right amount of time and the right kind of people to be watching the entire time to make sure I didn't implode. Or I talked good game for a whole year, maybe even 2. But I'm still here past the pandemic, economic downturn, social unrest, monkeypox, inflation, recession. I'm still here.
Yeah, that's amazing. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go through our profitable wisdom segment. We'll be right back.
Anyway.
Hi, I am Rodney Dow, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Victor, and you're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
I'm Ken MacArthur, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Welcome back. We are talking with the killer pitch master, the pitch queen, I should say, Precious Williams. And we're going to go through our signature segment. This is where I ask the same 5 questions to every guest because the answers are always so varied and they're interesting and they're intriguing. So let's jump in, shall we?
Yes.
So who has had the greatest influence on you in your life?
The woman who's had the greatest influence on me in my life is my grandmother, Precious Dolores Williams. My namesake.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. My namesake. She sits on that wall right over there. Born in 1933.
Wow.
Passed in 2000 when I was a student at Spelman College. She's had the greatest impact on me because she is the first woman, motherly figure, to tell me what my life was going to play out as. She called me her golden child. She said I was going to break generational curses. She said I'm going to be on billboards in Times Square. She said that when I speak, people listen. I was 15 years old.
Wow.
An abused, battered child. And my grandmother, my grandfather took me into their home and spoke life over me, spoke love over me, talked to me, drove me to and from school. We sat and talked, and she said she waited 15 years to get me. And she wasn't going to let me go.
Wow.
She would tell anybody, I wish you would when it come to her. Did you raise your, I thought you might have raised your voice to my baby. I
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
I look back like, that's delicious.
She's talking about me. She's talking about me. Yeah.
She talking about me. That was a fighter. My grandfather was like, let me bust a cap on that one. I'm like, oh, okay. And it was funny back then, but I'm like, I know what it's like for somebody to fight for me.
Mm-hmm.
She was there for every speaking engagement, from the first one I had before the mayor of the city of St. Louis to my very last, my valedictory address on June 6, 1997.
Wow.
From Beaumont High School before I went to Spelman College. She told me to go off to school. They prayed I'd be in St. Louis, but I went to Spelman. They didn't have the money. I got a full scholarship and then some, first generation. And although she passed when I was a junior, I feel her so much more in my 40s. I feel like everything she said, I can still hear her. She said, tell them, Christians don't need to know how to cook and clean because somebody's going to be doing that for her. Who grandmother said that? And she said it like,
yeah, I love it.
Need to know, I'm going to do this for her when she's young because somebody's going to be doing it for her. Who says that?
Nobody.
Someone who saw when I was a little girl that I was going to be somebody. Yeah. And did she tell stories? No, I've had 5 billboards in Times Square. Did she lie?
No.
I rang the bell at NASDAQ twice.
She was like a prophet. She saw where you were destined to be. Yeah.
She knew, and she gave, and that's the perfect name. I did not like my name growing up. I want to be a Tiffany or an Amber. But when I tell you I'm named after the greatest to have ever done it, trust. See, you think I'm dope, you ain't met the original.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. So what's the best business advice you've ever received?
The best business advice I have ever received is fortune favors the bold. Mm-hmm. And it does. The bolder I am, the bolder I move. Whether it succeeds or whether it fails, I've made an impression. Mm-hmm. The second one, I will just say this because Ty Goodwin said this to me. When a woman steps into her purpose, another woman can finally step into hers. Ooh, so I'm a trailblazer.
Say that again. Say that again.
When a woman, Ty Goodwin, when a woman steps into her purpose, another woman can step into hers. I hear this so often. They women and men will come up to me and are like, I didn't know you could be yourself and do it. I thought you always had to have this facade. I said, well, I had a facade for 30 plus years and it almost took my life. Mm-hmm. When I started to trust that who I am was just as important, if not more, it helped me in my speaking career. It helped me build a successful, profitable, and scalable business. It's even helping me today because I'm changing the narrative on what people think I can do. I am not just a killer pitch master. You may know me from that, and that is awesome. But I am so much more, which is why Perfect Pitches by Precious is no longer. We're the Perfect Pitch Group because the clientele and the customers that I have elevated me to a point where the packaging, the positioning, and pitching is reflected in everything that we do and how we work with our clients. I don't do the little things that I used to do anymore. Look, the big things popping, little things stopping. And my name was a barrier to that.
The name of your business.
Building a team.
Yeah.
Perfect Pitch Academy, rainmaking, all of that had to give birth to that under a new narrative.
Nice.
And I've grown, and so have my clients.
Nice. Very, very nice. You know, your energy is so infectious. Like I feel like I just need to get up and run up and down the halls. You are so, it's so infectious, and I love that about you. And I keep saying it. And you're an Aquarian, of course.
You already know. Come on.
You know, speaking of that, I think you're born the day before I was. Your birthday's the 22nd, right?
Yes, January 22nd.
I'm the 23rd. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like, I think we are right there together. And I have another girlfriend who's the 22nd as well. So we're just good people, y'all. Come on. You just got to accept that about us.
I mean, please.
So what's the largest single sale you've ever had? What was the amount and what were the circumstances? And as I told you before, I love for people to see the possibility in these kinds of stories.
So I've had multiple companies. So Perfect Curvy Girls Lingerie, $500,000 in 54 seconds.
Wow. Perfect
Pitches by Precious, 75,000, like in one speaking engagement, right? Perfect Pitch Group, I've sold 4 speaking engagements, 4 training sessions, I guess you can call it, $100,000 in one fell swoop.
Each.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are some real numbers, girl. Those are some real numbers.
I mean, and I have to laugh that Curvy Girls was 500,000 in 54 seconds though. Like that to me is amazing. My speaking engagements are not 54 seconds at all.
Yeah.
You know, some are 15 minutes, some can go as long as 90 minutes, or it could be like a whole day or, you know, a series. What I love is that I train women and men, sales professionals, how to write their own paychecks, who taught me. Pitching got me here. The very thing people said that no one will ever listen to a too fat, too black, non-Ivy League degree having woman who can teach at Harvard and Columbia Business School and law school and don't have an Ivy League degree.
But you know what, Precious? I'm gonna say something about that. Your education is not something to slouch about. You know what I mean?
First of all, I know that.
Yeah,
it's
girl,
other people that are just like, how? You don't.
Gotcha.
I don't have to be questioned because you didn't know me when I was an attorney. That's what you didn't know. You didn't know me when I was 16 years old, speaking to politicians and slicing and dicing like it was the most natural thing.
Yeah. And you
I come from this side of my brain. Please believe Spelman. I wish somebody would.
Yeah.
Georgetown and Rutgers. You don't want it.
Like stellar in terms of the kind of education you got. So when you say I'm not Ivy League, I didn't attend an Ivy League, I'm like, girl, I promise you, what you have done is nothing that short of amazing, you know.
Very much. I'm very proud. And the reason why I say that, honestly, is because sometimes we have to address the elephant in the room. Yeah. There are some people who look at me or look at, you know, Black women, people of color, and assume I can only speak for Women's History Month or Black History Month.
Yeah.
And then they start watching social media and be like, wait, she's here, she's in a commercial, she's in what? I'm like, yeah. So you have a limited frame, you have a limited thought process of what's possible. I don't.
Yeah.
If I made it out of the hood of St. Louis, all the way to New York City, and I came here, I said, I can't leave until I make it big. Like Wham, the 1984 album, make it big.
Yes.
Like, I can't.
And I'm a fan, so I'm really like, yes, I'm a fan. So what did you do to celebrate all of those big checks, girl? Did you do something?
When I was on MSNBC, Your Business with JJ Ramberg, and I pitched 54 seconds, I went back in that Cadillac Escalade home and cried because so many people said it was impossible. I was 327 pounds. As far as my speaking and my training, the truth is I enjoy peace now. I don't have to announce that. Like, I don't even talk about money on social media. Number one, I live in New York. Number two, what I have seen is it caused people to be extremely jealous, and now all of a sudden people have daggers out for you. So I let my clientele do the talking, because I think that's even more important, that people know I am getting compensated immensely for what I do, but you don't need to know the dollar amount, because it does change how people see you, especially if they never liked you in the first place. Now they're trying to figure out, oh, she spoke there, or she's speaking, I got to say something, like, you know, whatever. So for me, I operate in peace. I just moved into my dream space.
I get it. Yeah, I tell you.
For me, this to me is everything. I'm on the highest floor. I can look out over buildings. I can see into Manhattan. I can see it like the sun, like when the sun rises and sun sets. That is how I celebrate. I celebrate in the peace that I didn't grow up with. I celebrate in the peace I didn't have in my 20s and 30s. I celebrate by being with people who love me. And it's often not my birth family members. It's the family. And last night, when my friends called me at 11 something, I should have been asleep, but I had just done the training for FFC. And they were in California. And we were laughing at kid. And I said, girl, you know, I was up. She said, girl, I know you was doing FFC, Southern Cal. She said, I know you was up. So we were just laughing. I said, the fact we can laugh and Kiki, you're in Florida and I'm in New York, we just acting up. I said, no, I'm gonna have to go to bed though. She said, yeah, no, you get to be forward. She said, but I'm gonna holler at you. I said, well, like, this is it. This is what I love. It's the support and the love. And I also love this. How do I also celebrate? I am more direct than I've ever been. So if I have a problem with someone, I like to talk about it. I do. And not in a way I'm threatening. You know, when you're 5'9" and you have some weight on you, people will like to say you are a certain way.
I don't know that I remembered you were 5'9" because I'm 5'9".
I'm 5'9".
Yeah, for some reason I thought you were a little shorter than me, but and you like to wear heels. Yes.
I mean, on stage, I mean, we only gonna give it an hour. I want to have that time.
Yeah.
But the truth is, being more direct now, it really helps me be peaceful so that I don't misunderstand or miscommunicate. Yes. And so people know they're dealing with me and not the facade.
Yeah. She say it's the real Precious.
I mean, it's the real deal, Holyfield.
Yeah, I love it. So we all have those times, and you've mentioned a couple of those rock bottom times where we've thought of giving up in our business. Since you have evolved and grown to where you are today, do you still have those moments where you think about giving up? And what do you do? I know. What do you do when you have those moments?
So Queen, let's talk about last year, the last 2 months of last year. Let's talk about it. So I had 2 multi-six-figure contracts that were not signed. I had just moved. I have a team now.
Yeah. You had to think about that thing, huh?
So I have paid, you know, I paid all through the moratorium. So, you know, I have a clean record when it came to renting. I was accepted in this space within 1 day. Self-employed, no guarantor, no nothing. This is a woman who got evicted from 3 apartments in New York multi-years ago. You know, I sat here and all of a sudden the apartment looked like death to me. I'm looking out like,
oh, you got scared.
I did. I got so scared and I didn't know how to talk about it. I called a couple of the homies and I was explaining. And one of them, her name is Ruchi. And she said she was honored that I told her. And she said, I just want you to know they weren't supposed to be signed. Jigga who? Jigga what? She said, no, they weren't. She said, I was going to tell you where you're going. She said, no, you don't want to hurry now. There's more coming. And those would have stood in the way of what you're about to do. I didn't want to hear that. I'm thinking, I ain't gonna be able to do this. Payroll, you know.
Yeah.
And then I got sick. I couldn't go on that vacation I paid for. And I'm just sitting there, like, it just felt like the walls were closing in on me. And how do you talk about it without feeling like an abject failure? I was booked to speak at a Queen's event in Houston, Texas. I got on that plane just feeling like, you know how when you can't outwit, outplay, outlet, like you can't think your way out of it. You can't, like there's nothing you could do. I touched down in Houston, found out that this queen only had me speaking to her VIPs. And when I hit Houston, my brain opened up. And it was like I heard my father say to me, you were in New York too long. You were meant to be traveling. That brain opened up and I saw things. And these ideas came to me. And by the time I left that conference, I went to Austin, Texas, where I celebrated my 44th and my 45th birthday. And I'm in Austin, Texas at my birthday get together. And these 2 ideas came to me and I wrote them out. And then I unleashed them when I got back to New York. And these queens who were so elite, I sent both of them this proposal, and they both paid in full, not a payment plan. The other idea I had, I spoke to some, you know, pretty high up VIPs, and I told them about this idea, and they were like, okay, so what is sponsorship package? My business coach said to me, he said, your speaker rate has to go up with the biggest companies. It has to go up. He said, it's going up to this. He said, to this.
Mm-hmm.
Why, as I was leaving Texas, 2 things came through at that price. No questions asked.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in Texas?
Girl, you got receipts.
And I could not believe it. And I said, so this year already, we only in March. This month.
Yeah.
So why have we already made more than half of what we made last year?
Because you're constantly moving in that direction. That's why. And you are who you are. The picture.
So I hear what you're saying, but even I had that come to Jesus moment where I was like, and it wasn't even about oodles and noodles or garbage can. It was like, hold up.
But you know what that is? I think that's a humanity, that we have. And it's easy to forget that we have been brought out of those rock bottom moments, that we have been placed on a pedestal in terms of what God has poured into us and allowed to come to us. So I get it. I love that you look to your posse, you know what I mean, to say, I'm really feeling this. So if you guys are watching and listening, I want you to pay attention to that. She looked to her posse, and then she opened her mind up so God could give her a divine download about how to make up the difference in that. That's how I look at it.
Well, Queen, I'm 7 years clean and sober. And one of the best things that I learned is to play the tape all the way out and to make use of your coping skills and your support network. And although I did not want to say, because you don't want to look like a bum all of a sudden to your people, but it was almost like, well, what would I tell my clients? Would I tell them to suffer in silence where they start doing things they know they shouldn't be doing? And they love me to life and spoke life over me. And to touch down in another city because another woman said my name to this queen to speak at her event. So there were people always saying my name, and that got me into Texas, and that got me into Houston where I got to see my sister, and then that got me into Austin. Just came back from Austin for International Women's Day, speaking at those type. Like, I am in the right spaces with the right people.
And
but if I
relationships
never let
currency.
People know, if I never let them know that, Queen, I might not even be here. Remember I told you that stoic pretending everything is okay will kill you. And I don't need to be under that kind of stress.
No, that's right. So what's your greatest personal accomplishment outside of your business? I feel like I know what you're going to say, but.
Being 7 years clean and sober.
I knew that's what you were going to say. Yeah.
That right there.
What's the source of life? It's your lifeline that you are clean and sober.
Queen, I was in and out of psych wards for years. Trying to take my life on my 38th birthday. Being here at 45.
I'm like, that's 7 years ago. You say that.
Do you see why it's a big deal? Do you see why it's a big deal that I'm 45?
Yes.
And to know, as I turned 45 in Austin, Texas, my friend took me to the store and she had earrings made for me. She said, I don't think people understand. Alcohol is serious. You used to wake up to alcohol and go to sleep to alcohol. We have addiction that runs in our family and has killed a lot of my family members. And I'm so proud. I'm also proud that I'm a better friend. I'm a better sister. I'm a better woman. I'm a better entrepreneur. I'm a damn good CEO. I grew into this role.
Yeah.
I grew into being a CEO. Yeah. I didn't even know what it entailed. You think as you start something. No. Having a team and admitting I don't know how to manage because I never had to.
Yeah.
I was the lawyer. I wasn't the secretary. I was this. And letting people be in their zones of genius and teach me, not micromanaging. That is why I'm proud to not be on alcohol or any drugs. I'm proud that I have 2 invisible disabilities and I'm rocking it. I'm proud that I'm still Black on both sides. I'm proud of my tiger stripes.
Yes.
But I do not need substances.
I hear you, girl. She says, and she drinks her tea. We're
My
going to be
fruit
right back.
tea, my chamomile with a little bit of milk in it.
Calming, peace.
Yes.
Peace tea. Yeah. So we're going to be right back. And then, we've had such a wonderful conversation. I want you to share the nugget that you want people to walk away with. So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jody Krangle, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversations Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Precious Williams, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversations Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so that you're notified when the next episode goes live.
I'm Joanna Pawlowski, and you are tuned into Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, and subscribe now so you get notified when the next episode goes live.
Back. We've been talking with Precious Williams, and she has been dropping gems like crazy. I hope you were taking notes. I hope you got all of them. But if you missed anything, I'm going to ask you, Precious, to give us the nugget that you really want the listeners and the viewers to walk away from this conversation with. The nugget.
Here's my nugget. Given to you by the Killer Pitch Master, aka the Pitch Queen, aka the Ultimate Rainmaker. Dream big and then ask bigger. We all have these big, big dreams. It's time to make them a reality. But what does it require? You to ask bigger of everything and everyone around you. To let go and declutter things that no longer serve you. And to ask yourself to be bigger in every space that you're in. We can't play small. So ask yourself to show up bigger. Ask the people that you trust to push you bigger. So having big dreams, a lot of us have that. And a lot of us, as Doreen Rainey said years ago, the cemetery is full of big dreams that never came to fruition. I'm going to play this all the way out and leave nothing, not even a crumb. Because I ask bigger of myself every day to show up, to show out, and to show other women especially. I'm not dimming my light, so don't you dim yours for me or anybody else.
Awesome. So
dream big and then ask bigger of everything around you, including yourself.
Yeah. Wow. That's it, y'all. That's the end of the conversation. She dropped.
That's a little mic drop. I'm gonna drop this.
You know what I mean? Seriously. Thank you so much, Precious, for being here. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, lots of wisdom here. I hope that you are not just inspired and motivated by this conversation, that you go out and you dream big and then ask bigger, like Precious said. So do it. Thank you for being here, everyone. And stay tuned for the next episode coming up very soon. Be sure, thank you, Precious. Be sure that you join the after party at profitablecoachingsociety.com. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much for tuning into Profitable Coaching Conversations with WendyY Bailey. Be sure to join us at the after party at www.profitablecoachingsociety.com. We'll see you next time for more sales and marketing wisdom and insight from WendyY and her amazing guests. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you know when new episodes are posted.